Hello, this is Jason again. Back again, a little hiatus there. Been kind of busy. Been working all over the place. Fire department. Back at the ambulance company though. Been doing a lot of stuff. Real busy with this play right here. It's called Star Wars: The Dark Hunter. This was given to me to do, so I wrote it. And we've been practicing. We've been working on this play since the summer. We're going to pull it on the weekend before Christmas. It's going to be great. So I'm just going to give you some little flyer inspiration, a little technique, little things you can do, maybe to turn out some kind of eye-popping kind of artwork. You know, people have looked at this flyer. This is just the overhead projector overlay, but it fits in the screen better. People have liked it. It looks trippy. We recognize the people, but they just look kind of otherworldly or just hand-drawn or whatever. And this is kind of like a half hand-drawn, half Photoshop kind of pose technique, and I'll get it to you in a second. So, and this plays essentially the story of the Apostle Paul, but it's done in Star Wars format, I guess you could say. You can get idea for a drama from anything, especially in the Bible, and make it interesting and make it a draw for other people. So we're going to see how this works out when it goes off on the 22nd and 23rd. I'm going to post up some of the other artwork that we did for some of the visuals in this play, and that's going to be coming up. Okay, so first of all, there's my work top here. So as you can see, I do in Photoshop, and I posed this flyer as such. We took pictures of all the cast and stuff one night after practice and had them pose. But there's some things missing, like cool guns, clothing, stuff like that. But that's where you get to be an artist and stuff and do some things. You can see kind of on the right lower hand side, that old looking guy right there. I totally did him with a scratch board pen. Okay, you can see on the right hand side the layers. I have every person posed and cut out. But layer number 4 is kind of like an ink layer where I'm taking my scratch board tool, solid black color, 100% opacity. And I'm using my new art tablet. That's basically a screen that I can write on, and it picks up the pen pressure and everything. It's a Huion, I don't know, is it GT190 19 or something like that? It's a 19-inch screen that attaches to my computer, and I can just draw right on the screen with a digitizer pen. And it's pressure sensitive, and it's got the industry standard now. A Cintiq from Wacom is probably the standard for the super duper pros, but since we're just amateurs, this will do just fine. It's probably only like $400. I remember I got it on sale. So anyways, there we go. You see me here, just real time here, inking on top of this photo on a separate layer, and just bringing out the darkness, the lines and stuff. I'm going to fast scrub through some of this stuff here. Tilting the canvas a little bit, and I have just do the lines of his face like I'm drawing him. So I've got layer 5 as a layer underneath that I turn on and off to see how my lines look, how they're going to look without the photo underneath, and I just check my work every now and then, see what needs to be brought out. Like he looks like he has a really dirty 5 o'clock shadow, but actually it's the line for his face. And that's evident only if you turn on the neutral layer underneath and see what you're doing. So the line thickness varies and everything, makes it look very artistic-like. So here we go, going forward. It looks a little better, a little shading. Yeah. And I'm actually drawing his armor on him because he's a Sith guy. He's a bad guy. I'm drawing his gloved armor, his hand protection gloving armor. Looks like a guy ready for a motocross race. But see, that's what they look like with the photos off and line only. So yeah, they're like all Star Wars, the old Republic era, 3,000 plus years before Luke Skywalker and the destruction of the first Death Star. So this is back the old Republic era. So everyone's costume is a little more dramatized and kind of exotic looking. It's weird. So here's one of our main characters here, a little sister named Felicia. So I'm drawing her in, and I don't like the way I did her face, because if you look at it this way, it looks like her little sister. It doesn't look like a 24-year-old woman. But here we go. I fix it later on. So they didn't give me all the right stuff. The 2 guns, so I get to be an artist. You still have to draw stuff in. I got this hand of Princess Leia here holding a gun. I'm going to blend it into her photo arm and give her a bracelet and all that stuff. Like drawing, making hard lines. In Photoshop and in Corel Painter, you can hit these buttons over here. These both kind of allow you to go from really hard lines, which you use like a vector, what'd you call that? Graph points or coordinates. And it'll draw a line from this coordinate to this coordinate, and bam, make a nice solid straight line. You can do that. And then up here, you can toggle back and forth, freehand drawing and back to hard line drawings. That's a little technique I'm using too, so kind of built in there. Do the whole gun like that, varying the line thickness. There you go. I'm drawing on the neutral, so I can see what I'm doing. Flip at the canvas, making stuff up, drawing her arm, trying to make it anatomically correct. Anatomically, let's say believable. Right. If you took a photo of it, who knows what it would look like. But when you look at it, and if you don't notice anything totally wrong, then it's probably pretty good. It's like anything else you do that you spend forever on. If people just don't notice it because it looks so normal, then you did a good job. Okay, so making some areas of light and dark and value. I don't like her mouth or her nose, so later on I go and fix it. If you're working on something and you don't know why it's making you frustrated, quit for a second. Hang it up, go ride your bike or sleep on it overnight, and you'll see what happens. This video is done in 2 parts, multiple parts, because I take a break, walk away, come back, and finish it off. So yeah, I'm having to artistically draw in this shoulder strap, like a flight harness that she's wearing. She wasn't wearing it the night we did the photos, because no one had really had their costume yet. So, but here we go. Hatching away. And I draw Wayne's characters like a Jedi Master, so I have to draw the hood on him and all this stuff. Put it on there, I guess you could say post-production. This is kind of a cool thing. I wanted to do a fringe around his hood because he's got one in real life. It's like man kimono, but like all white and glossy looking, since he's like the Holy Ghost looking Jesus type character. So I find some Celtic patterns, because I don't feel like drawing it, and I probably couldn't anyways, but I'm going to put it on the fringe of his robe. So I found this tool in Photoshop called Puppet Warp, and it ended up being exactly what I needed. See, I tried a couple things. I tried Mesh Warp, I tried Distortion Brush, Liquify. Nothing really worked, and then I found this thing called Puppet Warp. It was like edit, where is it? Yeah, pose it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then edit, and then Puppet Warp right here. Over here. Come on, Jason. There you go. It slaps this cool, funky mesh grid on top, and you just hit little pins, and it ended up being exactly what I needed done. See, watch. Put those little yellow pins down there. Tick, 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 tick. Dial it in. Exactly what I needed. I've never seen it before, but anyways, desaturated it, put it on a layer, set it to multiply, and it looks like just a texture on top of this guy's robe here. There you go. Perfect. See that? Do the same thing for the interior of the robe. Erase parts of it. Multiply. Done. Bam. Cool. So then I just go to bed and sleep on it. You know, like, don't want to get too burnt out doing it. So here I am. I go back and I fix Felicia a little bit. I add some stuff to the armor. And I still don't like that guy's face. So I decide to take my own picture, take matters into my own hands. You'll see later. I just don't like the way it looked out. So I'm using my own skills, airbrushes, and different things to add texture and value. I kind of like doing value first, which is black and white levels, pretty much. Doing like the comic book colorist thing. I'm just like selecting an area and just touching it up. And this is why it's important to color between the lines, kids, when you get older. There, some highlights on his hair. There you go. Bam, bam, bam. Some shoulder action there. Shoulder. Saving it. Remember to save, 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 save. So. Alright, so this is the next day. I went and took a picture of my little sister. I left that space on the top right for her because I knew she was missing on there. And I have the two good guys on top. So I'm doing the same thing. I put her in there, but I'm tracing on top of her face. Little lines as possible on the face, just to keep it simple looking. I drew some chevrons in there, get her all squared away. She looks kind of otherworldly like that. Dial in the hair. I drew it in my hand, all crazy detailed looking. It's right in front, might as well. Here's dial in Felicia, dial in Justin. And so that I don't get all, what do you call it? Impatient. Pretty impatient, so I'll just go from one area to the next. I'll dial in her elbows and her arms here, then I'll go back to the other side and do something else and come back here, come back there. And just kind of dial in little pieces of the drawing as I go. I'm not spending too long in one area, or lest my impatience make me do something, I don't know, that compromises the quality of the whole thing. So it goes and triggering her face out, get compared to the original. No duck lips. Okay, I'll go over here. I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to go do Tiffany's shoulder here. Some other stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. There you go. Just some airbrushing here. Put some values down. I can erase my layer 5 in some spots, and you can see some photo texture underneath. So that's kind of the idea with some of these things. So it's a little technique that I worked on. I did some flyers back in the days. This is that first school shooting that happened, or that theater shooting that happened when the churches wanted to do their haunted house after that. So what I did is I had people from my church just lean up against the wall and put their arm out there and stuff. And I actually went to the back of the church and took a picture of the carpet, laid it all down here, and there's a shadow, a guy's shadow, supposedly the shooter, right on top, or her. And use a combo of the line art and this is the highlight layer, plus shadows, bullet lines, splatter, total line art here. So you take away the line art, it just looks kind of trippy, but you put the line in there, it looks kind of drawn, but then there's some realism behind there. It's a cool little effect. I did this too with this guy. Wanted to draw a zombie, but I got a picture of this lead singer. I don't know who you are, but that was an awesome pose. So I just drew on top of him, I draw my little zombie effects, like the staples on his ear, chunks taken out of his head. His arm and skin is a patchwork of different people's stuff, I haven't got this jean texture. I think I just took a picture of my own jeans and laid it out a few times on there underneath all the line art. So I got all kinds of different things rolling up in here and stuff. That was I'll show you the finals in a second. And here's another one I did. I got this guy. He was like, I want to do a 50s diner, or someone wanted to do a 50s diner horror show. So we had this. I took a picture of a girl posing like this. This is her actual skirt. I had just a layer. I just used the pattern texture for the skirt. But there's an actual woman posed like this, and I put it right here in the diner. As you can see, I have a picture of an actual diner that I took, and I desaturated, and I messed with some texture and blood splatter, etc. I have this kind of weird landscape out here. It's actually the moonscape from above the clouds, but it looks, I don't know, kind of ethereal, all scary, spiritual, floaty. My favorite part of this drawing, though, is the guy with his head cut off and then blood is splattering into his cup and he's catching it. I think that's just hilarious. Yeah, good, clean Christian fun. All right, so, but I guess my technique is I found this guy's picture, like, hi, I'm a little happy bartender guy, And then I just drew around it what I wanted the thing to be. And I got a picture of Mr. 1940s, a pencil drawing. I put it on here, and I drew on top of the pencil drawing, put my own decaying lips and teeth and exposed skull and gray matter here, and voila. Instant gore. And it's just a cool little technique. I thought I made it up, but no, I guess there's a guy out there named Greg Land, and Greg Land is like notorious for this kind of stuff, but he gets paid to do it on comic books and posters and stuff, and he'll grab models posing in like Sports Illustrated and anywhere else you can find them, I guess, and he'll do kind of what I just did, except I'm trying to keep it cartoony looking. He'll render it all realistic, and I guess he's like notorious for it. People don't like it. I think it looks cool, but I guess people are like, it's not real artwork, but I think you're smack. You didn't think of it. Okay, dialing Tiffany's hair here. Some airbrush, getting it nice and soft looking instead of too liney. Giving her a white gown. Okay, I'm just taking the airbrushing areas. It's kind of how they color comics too, from what I hear. Airbrushing texture in there. Some of these areas I can get some spatter texture going on there. Doing a little shading on his eyes, dialing, little things here and there, jumping all over the place. Like, I'm going to take care of Jeremy, but then Jeremy gets boring, so I'm going to go do something on Andrew, and then that's boring. So finishing up his eyes. Okay. There we go. Back to the worktop. I believe this is it. The next stage. Oh, we skipped a lot of stuff. Maybe I went ahead too fast. Okay. No. Yeah, so I probably recorded about 60% of this whole thing. So some of the stuff's missing because I just forgot to hit record. But the next day I wake up and, wow, look at that. That guy looks totally younger and it's a different pose. And Felicia's face is nice and shaded in. So I'm going to dial in her arms. This is all I'm just doing airbrushing and different things. You see I'm putting the highlights and the shadows on the faces and different things there. So as we go, just doing a section at a time. Get sick of it, go do something else, come back. I sprayed some texture on here, like a splattering brush. It's got a nice little feel to it, like this weather. There's some kind of texture on top of the armor and stuff. And there you go. I got some explosion PNGs from Digital Juice. And I'm starting adding color. I'm going to add like an overall color to bring everybody together on the same page. Overall color here. It's like a sepia, kind of jacked up looking sepia, like yellowish. And I'll just paint, put on a color layer and paint different things on it. Of course, Tiff's going to be blue. Shh, quiet. She's going to be all bright blue, sparkly, glowy. Because she's a Force Ghost. And so I got some little things to make her all sparkly and different than everybody else. Dialing some color with the clothes. Then I'm going to put the yellow kind of over. It's like a layer on top to make everybody look like they're in the same room instead of different places. I'm putting that stroke. I put a gradient for the stroke instead of a regular stroke to go along with the colors. Make it all small, barely noticeable. Ties everybody together. And it's just me doing the back side of the flyer. A whole other thing. I used a Dore woodcut photo. Do the whole back side. Here we are, arranging the flyer. You've seen me do this before. It's no big deal. I looked for movie posters for inspiration on how to get this done, and in the end, it's too small. It's a little 4x6 flyer, so got me some crossed sabers to go in the middle. Rearranged the letters a little bit. The way I did the Dark Hunter, the title, and that lion's head, or the whatever beast, otherworldly beast that is, that's the hunter. I did another program called Zach's Works Pro Animator 3D. Here I am typing up the spiel, or the spiel. There you go. Dialing everything in there. It's all PNGs. Got both sides of my flyers rock and rolling. And there you go. That's a good flyer. I'm trying to drop some off at the comic book store. Maybe some nerds will come out. Nerds need to get saved. Just because you're a nerd and you're not a drug dealer, you need to give your life to Jesus, all right? It's because you're like a YouTube guy, but you need to give your life to Jesus. So everyone's welcome to the foot of the cross. So that's that flyer here. I'll go ending shot of the flyer one more time. There you go. The weekend before Christmas 2018. This is hopefully get some inspiration here, some ideas for you. Little technique challenge there. It takes a little while. You need some good equipment to do it, but yeah, it looks so cool. So, all right. Have a nice day.